Henry, please pay attention, all right? If you're going to do it, do it.
It's at 169, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I fear thou wilt once more come again for ransom.
Okay, York, that's me. Who is kneeling, my Lord, most humbly on my knee, I beg the leading of the vanward. It says V-A-W-A-R-D, that's the vanward. Of course, the opposite of the rear guard, so the vanward is the front lines. And remember that happened in A Song of Roland, where I think Marsilian's son said, I want to lead it. I want to lead the charge. That's a big deal in the Middle Ages. So he says, I want to, York says, Henry.
Take it, brave York. Now soldiers march away, and how thou pleasest God dispose the day.
Okay, who's our pistol? All right, so whenever he reads French, why don't you read the English on the left? And you're going to be the French soldier. Read the English on the left, okay? You want to?
Like, since I don't really speak that much French, I just going to say it.
We'd like to know what you're saying. All right, so this is a scene that kind of reveals again what kind of person Pistol is, and he is a representative character of a whole lot of people that are like him in any war. Okay, so the battle has begun, and we'll start with Pistol.
I think you are a gentleman of high rank.
Nonsense is printed in the folio, although editors have tried to amend it so that it echoes the refrain of an Irish ballad.
Okay, what are you doing?
Where are you?
I'm looking at you said the...
Oh, no.
Wait, didn't you want to be Henry?
You have quality.
I know, you told me to do the English.
But that's not the English.
Oh.
That's not a translation of it. It's just an explanation of it.
I'll just go to art thou.
Anyway, art thou a gentleman? What does that mean? Discuss.
Oh, Lord God.
Okay, that was the answer to the question. The question was, what is your name? His answer was, O Lord God. Look what Pistol does.
O Senor Du should be a gentleman. Profane my words, O Senor Du and Mark. O Senor Du, thou didst on point of promise, except O Senor, thou do give to me egregious ransom.
Oh, have mercy.
Hang on just a minute. He thinks the word Senor Du is his name. He doesn't realize that what he's calling him is Lord God. So again, that's part of the humor of it. He doesn't understand French. Go ahead.
Oh, have mercy. Have pity on me.
Moy shall not serve, I will have 14 moys. I will fetch thy rim up at thy throat in drops of crimson blood.
Is it possible to escape the strength of your arm?
Grass curd, thou damned and luxurious mountain goat offers me grass.
Oh, pardon me.
Say'st thou me so, is that a ton of noise? Come hither, boy, ask me this slave in French, what is his name?
Do we have a boy? Okay. You can read the English.
All right, listen, what is your name?
What is he saying, sir?
He says his name is Master Fur.
Master Fur, I'll fur him, and ferk him, and ferret him, discuss the same in French unto him.
I do not know the French for fur and ferret and ferk.
Bid him prepare, for I will cut his throat.
Trying to find that word. Oh, is it, oh, I beg you?
What is he saying, sir?
Oh, what is he saying, sir? Oh,
He orders me to say to you that you are to make yourself ready, for this soldier here is disposed to cut your throat immediately.
So quickly, Gordier Permafoy, peasant, unless thou give me crowns, grave crowns, or mangled shalt thou be by this my sword.
Oh, I beg you, for the love of God, so pardon me. I am a gentleman of a good house. Preserve my life, and I will give you 200 crowns.
What are his words?
He prays you to save his life. He is a gentleman of a good house, and for his ransom he will give you 200 crowns.
Tell him my fury shall abate, and the crowns I will take.
Little sir, what is he saying?
Once again, that it is his oath to pardon any prisoner. Nevertheless, in return for the crowns that you have promised him, he is content to give you liberty, freedom.
This French soldier kneels in front of him like some vassal, some slave.
Oh, see.
Yeah, actually, the translation will be given by the boy. So they don't have a translation for it because the boy will translate it word for word.
He gives you upon his knees 1,000 thanks, and he esteems himself happy that he hath fallen into the hands of one. as he thinks the most brave, valorous, and thrice-worthy Senor France.
He just read the boys' part, but that's what he said. That's what the French soldier says in French.
Yes.
As I suck blood, I will suck mercy shall follow me.
Follow the great captain. I did never know so full a voice issue from so empty a heart, but the saying is true. The empty vessel makes the greatest sound. Bardolph and Nim had 10 times more valor than this roaring devil was
In the old play.
in the old play. That every may pare his nails with a wooden dagger, and they are both hanged. And so would this be if he durst steal anything adventurously. I must stay with the lackeys with the luggage of our camp. The French might have a good prey of us if he knew of it. For there is none to guard it but boys.
All right, that's significant. He finally had it with Pistol. And what do we learn about Bardolph and them?
Weren't they not like enemies? Or did they die?
They died. How'd they die?
Hanging.
They were hanged. He says they were hanged. Pistol's worse than they are, he says. And because what did
Boy is saying this?
the boy is. Now, what did Pistol just do? This French soldier is begging for his life, and Pistol said he's going to cut his throat through the boy. He told him that. Is Pistol, we seen Pistol cut anybody's throat? No, because he's a coward. He wouldn't do that. But what does he get out of it? So he ransoms him. He ransoms the soldier. The soldier says he'll go get him the money. And he represents, because the question that I would answer, well, that's not the question. But he represents anybody in war who makes money out of war. That's a terrible thing to become wealthy on. It's happening right now in Ukraine. There are companies in the world that are creating these weapons and selling them and making tons of money. They like it when war comes. That's their job. They're not politicians. They're not military people. They just make it, and they're making lots of money. All right, Interconstable, Orleans, Bourbon, Dauphin, and Rambouillet. Charlotte, you're the constable.
What?
You heard me, constable. You're Orleans, Sarah. And we need, who's been our Dauphin? All right.
I think it's
Who's Dolphin?
Dominic.
All right, and Bourbon, do we have a Bourbon? You can do that.
What about Rambert?
Okay. Rambo, you can be Rambo, right? All right, go ahead, Constable.
Oh, diamond.
Who does that, by the way?
Bourbon?
Wait a minute, who is Diable?
The devil.
The devil.
Do I have to read the French?
If you can find it like they did, that's helpful. Find the translations on the left side of the page.
It tells you what line.
You have to go to the line number. You got it?
No. It's done.
It's right.
Oh. Oh, okay. Oh Lord, the day is lost. All is lost.
Okay, we learned there, who's won the battle? These are Frenchmen. The English have won the battle. These French nobles announced that, Dauphin.
Death of my life, all is confounded, Paul. Reproach and everlasting shame sits mocking in our wounds. Do not run away.
Why all our ranks are broke.
Oh, durable shame, let's stab ourselves. Be these wretches that we played at nice for.
Is this the king we sent to for his ransom?
How do they feel about their overconfidence now? We played dice this morning over these guys, and we tried to get a ransom out of the king, and they just, what's happening to the French troops right now? It says, our ranks are broke. What does that mean? Well, I remember I asked you a minute about disorder. Disorder. That's what they have, chaos and disorder. You're not an effective fighting force when you're in disorder. Why do you think from day one the guy gets off the bus at Paris Island and gets yelled at, everybody stands in line, they all get their hair cut the same. Every little thing in their life is dictated. They have to march together everywhere they go. What's the point of all that? This is the point. So when you fight and bullets you need to be able to listen and do exactly what you're told. And when bullets are flying, you're gonna get killed, you're gonna get somebody killed if you're not. And you gotta do it together. So unity and order is absolutely necessary. That's why the military is so good for a lot of people. It gives them some things Asians have never had before, order and discipline.
Wait, so does it just like skip the battle part and this is afterwards, or is this during the battle?
It's all happening right now, but what can he not do? The course has been telling this the entire book. What can Shakespeare really not show?
And like 20,000 men.
He cannot show the battle, so all he's doing is letting us hear about the battle from other soldiers. If you see the movie, which we probably won't have time to look at, but look it up sometime, Henry V, they get to show the movie, but that's because they're not acting it on a stage. They're actually making a
Have
movie
you
of
seen paintings of the real Henry V?
it. About what?
Like paintings. There's one portrait of the actual.
May have, I don't recall.
His little bowl haircut.
Mhm.
It's really bad.
All right, so Bourbon.
Shame and eternal shame, nothing but shame, let us die, and once more back again. And he that will not follow Burley now, let him go hence, and with his cap in hand, like a base panther, hold the chamber door, will spy the slave, no gentler than my dog, his fairest daughter is
Contaminated.
Disorder that hath spoiled us, break us now, let us on heaps go offer up our lives.
We are enough yet living in the field to smother up the English in our throngs, if any order might be thought upon.
The devil take order now, I'll to the throne, let life be short, else shame will be too long.
All right, so they still outnumber the English, but because they're lacking of order and discipline, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many they are because they're all fleeing in different directions. They don't have anybody to lead them. All right, scene 6. Here comes Henry, and we're getting to hear now. The battle is basically over. It's lost. We're getting to hear some of the details. So Henry, yeah. Go ahead. Henry.
Oh, sorry. Well have we done, thrice valiant gentlemen, but all's not done, yet keep the French in the field.
His good book commends him to your majesty.
Live see, good uncle, thrice within this hour I saw him down, thrice up again in fighting, from helmet to the spur, all blood was he.
In which array, brave soldier, doth he lie, larding the plain in thy bloody side, yoke fellow to his honor owing wounds. The noble Earl of Suffolk also lies. Suffolk died first in York, all haggled over, comes to him, where in gore he lay and steeped, and takes him by the beard, kisses the gashes that bloodily did yawn upon his face. He cries aloud, Tarry, my cousin Suffolk, my soul shall thine keep company to heaven. Tarry, sweet soul, for mine, then fly abreast as in this glorious and well-foughten field we keep together in our chivalry. Upon these words I came and cheered him up. He smiled me in the face, brought me his hand, and with a feeble grip he says, Dear my lord, commend my service to the sovereign. So he did in turn, and over Suffolk's neck he threw his wounded arm and kissed his lips, and so, espoused to death, with blood he sealed the testament of noble ending love. The pretty and sweet manner of it forced the waters from me, which I would have stopped, but I had not much of a man in me, and all my mother came into mine eyes and gave me up to tears.
Go back and circle the names Suffolk, the Earl of Suffolk, and the Duke of York. Those are the two, according to Shakespeare anyway, those are the two officers. Only
They had a
two officers.
relationship with the
Yeah.
officers?
They were, I think, cousins.
Oh.
York is Henry's cousin.
Because they said they kissed him on the lips. I was like,
Remember, this is the Middle Age. We've seen that a lot.
Andrew, in the Middle Ages show about.
What? York and Suffolk. Circle their names. They are the only two, according to Shakespeare, which is not accurate, but they're the only two noblemen that died. So he spends a lot of time with that. You'll find out in a minute, the French lost 8,000 of them, of various officers
Suffolk
and
and
nobles.
Where's York? Oh,
Suffolk and York.
there he is.
All right, so we go to Henry again.
I blame you not. For hearing this, I must perforce compound full my eyes with my full eyes, or they will issue too.
Don't say that. That's you don't need to say that.
Oh gosh.
It's separated. That's part of the stage direction.
But hark, and new
Alarum.
Can I see it? Oh, alarum. I thought you said I thought it was a bad word or something. Alarum is this same. The French have reinforced their scattered men. Then every soldier kills his prisoners. Give the word though.
We're going to find out more about that, but Henry orders the prisoners killed. That's a desperate move because that's not the way war. If you kill yours, they'll kill theirs. If you kill their prisoners, they'll kill your prisoners. So you don't want to do that because you want your guys back. Something must have happened that caused Henry to do that. Okay, we need our Fluellen. All right, we got Fluellen over here. We need Gower. We get Gower back there. Fluellen and Gower. All right, good. That they will talk about the battle here.
Kill the boys and the luggage. 'Tis expressly against the law of arms. 'Tis as our parent, a piece of knavery. Mark ye now, as could be offered in your conscience.
'Tis certain there is not a boy left alive, and the cowardly rascals that ran from the battle had done this slaughter. Besides, they have burned and carried away all that was in the king's tent. Wherefore the king, most hath caused every soldier to cut his prisoner's throat. Oh, 'tis a gallant king.
So you see the guy that pistol ransom got away just in time because Henry orders the prisoners to be killed. These are unarmed people. You don't do that. We now know why they did it, kill the prisoners. What happened to the boys? Remember the boy that we've seen throughout the book? He finally left pistol. Last thing he said, he's going to the luggage, or that means the supply lines. He's going to the supply lines. He said, the only people there are us boys to guard it. If the French knew, we'd be in trouble, which is exactly what happened. So what happened?
They came and killed all the
They
boys.
kill them all. They massacre the boys, the unarmed boys. And so Henry kills the prisoners for that. That's a big deal. Remember, Chaucer was ransomed in the in war. He was a soldier, and they ransomed him. Okay, Fluellen.
He was born at Monmouth, Captain Gower. What call you the town's name where Alexander the pig was born?
For some reason, he calls Alexander the Great Alexander the Pig. It's just Fluellen. And he makes a comparison between Alexander and Henry. Alexander, one of the great military leaders of all time. So he likes Henry a lot, so he's comparing them.
Alexander the Great.
Why, I pray you, is not pig great? The pig, or the great, or the mighty, or the huge, or the magnanimous, are all one reckonings, save the phrase is a little variations.
I think Alexander the Great was born in Macedon. His father was called Philip of Macedon, as I take it.
I think it is Macedon where Alexander is born. I tell you, Captain, if you look in the maps of the whole, where each shall find in the comparisons between Macedon and Monmouth, that the situations, look you, is both alike. There is a river in Macedon, and there is also a river at Monmouth. It is called Lie at Monmouth, but it is out of my prains. What is the name of the other river? But 'tis all one, 'tis alike as my fingers is to my fingers, and there is salmon in both. If you mark Alexander's life well, Harry of Monmouth's life is come after it indifferent well, for there is figures in all things. Alexander, God knows and you know, in his rages and in his furies, and in his wraths and in his humors, and his moods and his displeasures and his indignifications, and also being a little intoxicated in his praise, did in his ales and in his angers, look you, follow his best friend,
Cletus.
Our king is not like him in that. He never killed any of his friends.
It is not well done, mark you now, to take the tales out of my mouth here. It
He was full of jests and gibes and knaveries and mocks. I have forgotten his name.
Sir John Falstaff.
That is he. I will tell you, those good men born at Longno.
Here comes His Majesty.
Did you get the reference to Falstaff? Said that Alexander killed his best friend Cletus, and Henry killed his best friend, who was?
Falstaff.
Yes, and did he kill him?
No.
Yeah, right, how would you explain it then?
He put him in prison and then he died there.
Right, no, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he didn't put him in prison, or he
Died of old age.
he died of a broken heart, remember?
Broken heart.
Henry, the band abandons him. He abandoned them and Bardolph and Pistol. And we said that could be a good quality of a king. Sometimes you're gonna have to say goodbye to your friends and say, I just, you know, maybe you think that's a bad thing. I don't know. Henry had to do it. Now he's king. He couldn't
But
be
he
friends with
didn't have
him. He thought he had to.
I'm not a big fan of Henry at this point, all the stuff he's done, so.
Okay.
Anyway, speaking of King Henry, you are King. I
Alright.
am King Henry.
It's your turn.
I've never been much of a fan of myself either, so I was not angry since I came to France, until this instant, like a trumpet herald, ride thou unto the horsemen on yon hill. If they will fight with us, bid them come down, or void the fell, they do offend our sight. If they'll do neither, we will come to them and make them scur away as swift as stones, and force it from the old Assyrian slings. Besides, we'll cut the throats of those who we have, and not a man of them what we shall take shall taste our mercy. Go and tell them so.
Here comes the herald of the French, my liege.
His eyes are humbler than they used to be.
How now? What means this herald? Knowst thou not that I have find these bones of mine for ransom? Comest thou again for ransom?
No great king, I come to thee for charitable license, that we may wander o'er the bloody field, to book our dead and then to bury them, to sort our nobles from our common men. For many of our princes, woe the while, lie drowned and soaked in the mercenary blood. So do our vulgar drench their peasant land, in blood of princes and the wounded steeds, fret headlong into war, and with wild rage here count their armored heels of their dead masters, killing them twice. Oh, give us leave, great king, to leave the field and safely dispose of their dead bodies.
Henry.
I see thee truly, herald. I know not of the day, the hours or no, for yet many of our horsemen peer and gallop o'er the field.
The day is yours.
Praise the God, and not our strength for it. What is the castle called that stands hard by?
They call it Agincourt.
Then call this the field of Agincourt, fought on the day of Crispin Crispinius.
Your grandfather of famous memory, ate please your majesty, and your great uncle Edward, the Prince of Wales, as I have read in the chronicles, fought a most great battle here in France.
They did, Fluellen.
Your majesty says very true. If your majesty is remembered of it, the Welshmen did good service in a garden where leeks did grow, wearing leeks in their long-mouthed caps, which your majesty know to this hour is an honorable badge of service. And I do believe your majesty takes no scorn to wear the leek upon St. Patty's Day.
I wear it for a memorable honor, for I am Welsh, you know, good countryman. Oh, no.
All the water and wine cannot wash your majesty's Welsh blood out of your body. I can tell you that. God
Watch, Lord.
bless it and preserve it as long as it pleases his grace and his majesty too.
So what do you say?
At the bottom.
Okay, thanks, my good countryman.
By just you, I am your majesty's countryman. I cared not if you know it. I will confess it to all the world. I need not to be ashamed of your majesty. Praise be God, so long as your majesty is an honest man.
God, keep me so. Our heralds go with them. Bring me just notice of our numbers dead on both our parts.
All right, so who won the battle? He gets word from the messenger, Montjoy. Who won? Montjoy admits that the English did, yeah.
What's an ire? IRE?
It means anger.
Oh, okay.
All right, we've talked about this. How do you know who wins a battle?
The English, oh.
I mean, how do you know who wins any battle?
The French were like, oh no.
And- I mean, the question, how do you know who wins any? You take any battle, how do you know who wins?
The messenger.
You take the field.
Take the field.
That's it. That's what happens at Agincourt. The field, who holds the field of battle at the end of the battle? It's the English. The other team, the other side retreated. Remember, we talked about Guilford Courthouse. Who won the battle at Guilford Courthouse?
Well, technically, the British did.
That, by that same definition or measure, yes, the British did. But what did you mean?
Huh?
You said technically. What do you mean?
Because they took the field.
Right, but
We caused
So many
casualties.
more than they did.
so it was more of a Pyrrhic victory. It was a victory that was way too costly. So now we get into a little comic relief. Again, a question I'm going to ask you is, note those contrasts in scenes. Here's the same scene where you get kind of exaltation. They've won, although York and Suffolk are dead. Now you have a comic scene. You remember that morning when Henry was walking through the fields, he gave his cap to Williams, and Williams gave, not his cap, but his glove. And they exchanged gloves so that after the battle, they could fight, literally fight. William said he was going to box the ear of the king, although he didn't know it was a king. So Henry puts a twist into that. He gives his glove to Fluellen. So instead of putting it in his own cap to confront Williams, he gives it to Fluellen. And Fluellen, we've already noted, is kind of a comic character. And so it will allow some comedy into it. Exeter.
Soldier, you must come to the king.
Henry.
His eyes are humbler than they used to be.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
sorry, that's, how now? What means that, where, my gosh.
Hey, why don't we go with Dominic? You want to finish it?
I do very much
Pay
want to finish it,
attention.
yes, sir.
No,
Please.
189.
189, okay, because my page.
This is your last chance.
Okay. Soldier, you must come to the king.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I just missed
Just
the.
let Dominic do it.
We got to get a
Thank
substitute.
you.
Go ahead.
No.
Soldier, why wearest thou that glove in thy cap?
Williams. Who's our Williams?
I don't know Williams.
Okay, we need Williams. Let's go with Williams here. You can be Court. I don't think we need Court, but why don't you be Williams? You asked first, all right?
And it please your majesty, 'tis the gage of the one that I should fight withal if he be alive.
An Englishman?
And it please your majesty, a rascal that swaggered with me last night, who, if alive and ever dare to challenge this glove, I have sworn to take him a box of the ear. Or if I can see my glove in his cap, which he swore, as he was a soldier, he would wear if alive, I will strike it out soundly.
What think you, Captain Flowen? Is it fit this soldier keep his oath?
He is a craven and a villain else, and it please your majesty in my conscience.
It may be his enemy is a gentleman of great sort, right from the answer of his degree.
Though he be as good a gentleman as the devil is, as Lucifer and Beelzebub himself, it is necessary, look your grace, that he keep his vow and his oath. If he be perjured, see you now, his reputation is as arrant as a villain and a jackstraw as ever his black shoe trod upon God's ground and his earth, and my conscience dropped.
Then keep thy vow, Sirrah, when thou meetst the fellow.
So I will, my liege, as I live.
Whose servest thou under?
Under Captain Gower, my liege.
Gower is a good captain, and has good knowledge and literature in the wars.
Call him hither to me, soldier.
I will, my liege.
Here, Flowen, wear thou this favor for me, and stick it in thy cap. When Alicon and myself were down together, I plucked this glove from his helm. If any man challenge this, he is a friend to Alicon, and an enemy to our person. If thou encounter any such, apprehend them, and thou stowest me love.
Now, it's a little complicated, it's not all that, but he gives the glove to Fluellen and says, this is from a Frenchman. I took off his body. If anybody challenges it, I mean, he's an enemy. So you see how he's setting this up. Henry's having fun with him. All right. Fluellen puts Williams's glove in his own cap because Williams will show up with, his the king's glove in his cap.
Your grace does me as great honors as can be desired in the heart of his subjects. I would fain see the man that has but 2 legs, that shall find himself agreed at this glove, that is all. But I would fain to see it once, and please God of his grace that I might see.
Knowest thou Gower?
He is my dear friend, and please you.
Pray thee, go seek him and bring him to my tents.
I will fetch him.
My lord of Warwick and my brother Glaucus. Wait, how do you say that again?
Gloucester, 2 syllables.
Follow flowing, closely at the heels, the glove which I have given him for a favor, may haply purchase him a box over the ear. It is the soldier's. I by bargain should wear it myself. Follow, good cousin Warwick. If that the soldier strike him, as I judge, by his blunt bearing he will keep his word. Some sudden mischief may arise of it, for I do know Flowing valiant, and touch with shoulder hot as gunpowder, and quickly will turn an injury, follow, and see there be no harm between them. Go you with me, uncle of Exeter.
So he sends Gloucester and Warwick because he knows they're gonna fight each other, and he doesn't want anybody to really get hurt.
What's the name of the dude with the other glove of the king?
Llewellyn. Llewellyn has William's glove, and Williams has the king's glove. Okay. All right, Williams.
I warrant it is tonight, you captain.
God's will and his pleasure, Captain. I beseech you now, come apace to the king. There is more good toward you peradventure than is in your knowledge to dream of.
Sir, know you this glove?
Know the glove. I know the glove is a glove.
I know this, and thus I shall challenge it.
So he hits Llewellyn.
It's blood. An errant traitor as any is in the universal world, or in France, or in England.
How now, sir, you villain?
Do you think I'll be forsworn?
Stand away, Captain Gower. I will give treason his payment into plows, I warrant you.
I am no traitor.
I am no traitor.
That's a lie in thy throat. I charge you in his majesty's name, apprehend him. He's a friend of the Duke Ellington.
Something happened just recently, this makes me think of where somebody slapped somebody else, and there was a big deal about it. I must be imagining that, I don't know. Anyway, Warwick, how now, you read Warwick. Warwick,
You want me to read?
I want you to, well, I'd like to, that's all you want you to
Oh, awesome, okay. How now, what's the matter?
No small roles, it's just small acting. Like Llewellyn.
My lord of Warwick, here is, praise be thou for it. A most contagious treason come to light. Look you, as you shall desire in a summer's day. Here is your majesty.
How now, what's the matter?
My liege, here is a villain and a traitor that, look your grace, has struck the glove which your majesty is take out of the helmet of Alan.
My lead, oh my bad.
My liege, this was my glove. Here's the fellow of it. And he that I gave it to in change promised to wear it in his cap. I promised to strike him if he did. I met this man with my glove and his cap, and I have been as good as my word.
Your majesty, here now, saving your majesty's manhood, what an errant, rascally, beggarly, lousy knave it is. I hope your majesty is bearing me testimony and witness and will avouchment that this is the glove of Alenton that your majesty is give me in your conscience now.
Give me thy glove, soldier. Look, here is the fellow of it, twas I indeed thou promised to strike, and thou hast given me most bitter terms.
And please, your majesty, let us make answer for it, if there is any martial law in the world.
How canst thou make me satisfaction?
All offenses, my lord, come from the heart. Never came any from mine that might offend your majesty.
It was ourself thou did abuse.
Your majesty came not like yourself. You appear to me but as a common man. Witness the night, your garments, your loveliness. And what your highness suffered under that shape, I beseech you take it for your own fault and not mine. For you had been as I took you for. I made no offense. Therefore, I beseech your highness, pardon me.
Here, Uncle Hector, fill this glove with crowns and give it to this fellow. Keep it, fellow, and wear it for an honor in thy cap. Till I do challenge it, give him the crowns, and captain, you must needs be friends with him.
By this day and this light, the fellow has metal enough in his belly. Hold, there is 12 chests for you, and I pray you to serve God and keep you out of brawls and should you be so rash? These shoes is not so good. 'Tis a good silver I warrant you, or I will choose it.
All right, we will see you tomorrow. We'll pick it up there, finish it. You got the review sheet. You need to start working. You had a break last week. No homework, but this weekend you need to work.
Can we answer those questions?
We'll do